about translation. So first we're going to start with some vocabulary. A transformation is a change in the translation, rotation, or reflection of a figure. Translation is like a slide, rotation is a turn, and a reflection is a flip, just to help you remember those vocabulary words. A translation of a transformation is a slide of each point in the figure the same direction and in the same distance. The resulting figure after the transformation is called the image of the original figure. We're looking at problem number 1. We have our original triangle ABC. We want to translate 1 unit to the right and 4 units up. Starting at point A, I'm going to follow these directions. Think of it as going along the streets. You can't cut through people's backyard. You have to go along the street. So I'm going to start at A, and I'm going to go 1 unit to the right, and then I have to go 4 units up to find my new point, and I'm going to call that A prime. Next, I have to do point B, and A, we're going to go ahead and name that point A prime and give it a location. When we're finding the location of the points, you always go back to the origin and count from the origin. How far from the origin is that point? So I go over +2 and up +1, so that point is 2, 1. Now let's go to point B, and I'm going to follow the same translation. I'm going to go 1 to the right and 4 up. And that's going to be B prime. Now I have to identify the location of B prime, and that's the location from the origin. So I'm going to go back to the origin, count over 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a +4, +4. The last point is point C, following the same translation. I'm going to go 1 to the right and up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that will be C prime. I now need to find my location of C prime, so I go back to the origin. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 1, 2. So that would be 5, 2. Now I can connect my 3 points in order to form a triangle that should be exactly the same shape and size as my original. Let's look at one more example. I'm going to come over here to number 2, and this time we're going left 3 units and down 2 units. I'm going to start at point A, and I'm going to move 1, 2 units, 3 units to the left, and 1, 2 units down, and put my A prime. Next, I can move B over 1, 2, 3 units. It's okay to go ahead and count this point right here because it is still a unit away from B. Even though there's a point on it, we still count it. So 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2 is my B prime. And I need my C, 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2. That's my C prime. Make sure you're labeling it as you go. It'll make it a lot easier to make sure you have your matching points. And for D, I have 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2 is my D prime. And I can connect those 4 points to create a congruent figure. Now we can write our points for those primes. So A prime, go back to the origin, is 1, 2, up 1. So, and it was in the left direction, so that's a -2, up 1. B prime was over 1, up 1, so that's -1, +1. Going back to the origin for C, I do not move left or right, I just move straight down, so that means my X value is a 0, because I do not move left or right. Straight down is a -1. And for D prime, we moved over -1 and down -1. Next, we are going to look at what if they give us the two images, but we have to write the rules. So in this case, the hardest thing to do is to figure out which one is my object and which one is my image. So if I look at the letters E, D, E, F, G, or I have D prime, E prime, F prime, and G prime. Prime is always the image, so this is my original. So I'm starting here at D, and I'm going to move up 1 and to the right 4. So those are my directions. Up 1, right 4. You could have just gone right and then up, and you still would have been at the same point. So either way is fine. If I look at number 4, I have to identify my image and my object. I'm looking for those prime symbols. So the prime symbol is the image. And now I have to figure out how did I get from E to E prime, or D to D prime, and C, F to F prime. So I'm looking at E, and I went left, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my directions is left 4, and that's all there is to it.